Hi guys, welcome back to web scraping and mapping dam levels in Python. In the previous video, we added our model to the models.py file, and in this video, we will start to write the code that will scrape our data from a website. So the first thing that we need to do, if you haven't done so already, is to open up your IDE from the start menu. Once that is done, we are going to open up our terminal in the right pane. Right, and then once that is done, we are going to switch over to our root user. Okay, and then the next thing that we are going to do is activate our virtual environment. Once we've activated our virtual environment, we are going to apply the changes that we've made to our model in the previous video. So we are going to run two commands, make migrations and migrate. So let's start with the one, Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, and as you can see, it says our migration was made, created the model called dam levels, and then the next command that we're going to run is migrate. Okay, so as you can see, we are getting our OK message, which means that the migrations have been run successfully. And now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to install two libraries, the one which is called pandas and the other one is called Beautiful Soup 4. So Beautiful Soup 4 is the library that we are going to use to write our scraping code, and pandas is the library that we are going to use to do our ETL, which is extract the data, transform it, and then load it into our database. So let's start with pandas. Pip install pandas. Okay, once that is installed, the next library that we are going to install is Beautiful Soup 4. Pip install Beautiful Soup 4. Okay, so once we have done that, we are going to close the terminal for now, deactivate our virtual environment, and then exit. And then now we are going to go to our settings.py file, and then we are going to change something in the list of installed apps. So let's go there. So we are going to add leaflet to our list of installed apps. Okay, once that is done, we are now going to open up our admin.py file. Let's first save with Control S, and then let's open up our admin.py file. So now we are going to start writing the code that will scrape the data from the website. Let's start with our import statements. The first one that we are going to import is the point class. So it's from django.contrib.gis.geos import point. The next one that we are going to import is for our creation date field, which is the date time library. So it's from date time import date time. Okay, and then the next one that we are going to import is leaflet GeoAdmin. So from the leaflet app that we have just added, leaflet.admin import leaflet GeoAdmin. Okay, and then now we are going to import pandas. So from, actually it's import pandas as PD. So instead of writing out pandas, we are going to use the abbreviation PD. And then we are going to import the requests library, which is going to help us get or download our HTML page when we enter the URL for our website we'll be scraping from. So it's request, and then we are now going to add our model that we have created in the previous video. So it's from dam levels app dot models import dam levels. And then lastly, we are going to import beautiful soup. So it's from bs4 import beautiful soup. Okay, so once that is done, we are now going to register our model. So we create a class called dam levels admin, and then we are going to pass it a leaflet GeoAdmin. We're saying inherit from leaflet GeoAdmin, and then pass. And now we are now going to register it by saying admin.site.register dam levels and dam levels admin. Okay, so now the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to request the URL that points us to the website that we'll be scraping from and store it in a page, right? So we declare page and we say equal requests.get. So this will download our web page from using the URL. So I'll copy over the URL that we are going to use and that we are going to be scraping from. There it is. So it's going to get this page and store it in that object or that variable which we have created, which is now going to be a page object. So now let's open up our web browser and go to this URL. Paste it in there. And as you can see, here is our web page, and this is the data that we want to scrape. So now the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take a look at this table right here and then look at its properties or inspect its HTML code. So we're going to click on the dam field, right click, and then click on inspect. Okay, so here is the HTML code for this web page, and as you can see, here is the dam, which is written in a level 3 HTML heading, and it is part of the first row. So if we click on that, we can see that each and every one of these are the rows, right? So we have the first row and the last row, and each row is stored inside a table body. So we want this table right here. And as you can see, notice the attributes of this table element. It says align center and border equals 4. So the table doesn't necessarily have a ID, so we can't use the ID to pinpoint this exact table while we're scraping. So we are going to have to use these attributes as well to tell us, okay, this is the table that we want, because as you can see, there is another table here. So if we just search for the table using Beautiful Soup, we wouldn't know which one to take. So as you can see, the attributes here are different to this table. So we're going to use these attributes to uniquely identify this table that we are looking for. Okay, so if we click on one row, so this is one cell, the first cell of the first row. Okay, and then if we open up the second cell, we can see river, and the third one, photo, and so on. Right, so these are going to be our fields for our table. We are going to use these cells to get our values from. And then the next thing that you should notice is our rows. So this will be the rows that we'll be looping through, and we'll fetch each and every one. Right, so now you have a bit of an idea of what we are looking for. So this is the most important one. We're looking for this whole table, right? And then what we'll do is we'll perform ETL by removing some of the elements that we don't want, like this total right here and this bottom row and the photo field, etc. So you're going to transform this table into a table that we can use for our application. Okay, so now let us go back to our IDE. So once we've got the page, now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to create a Beautiful Soup object using that page. Okay, and then pass it that page, and then we are going to use the HTML parser of the Beautiful Soup object. So we create a soup variable, and then we are going to create a Beautiful Soup object, and then feed it the page which we have gotten from this URL dot content, and then we are going to use the HTML parser of the Beautiful Soup object. You can also use an XML parser, but seeing that we have HTML code, we are going to use the HTML parser. Okay, and now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to get the table container with the DAM data that we need, which we saw. Okay, so now we are going to use the find method of the Beautiful Soup object, which will allow us to search for the table that we want. So we are going to create a container for our table, and we're going to call it DAM data container. Equals soup dot find, and then we said that we're looking for a table element. Not only that, but the table element also has attributes called align center, and if we go back, align center and border equals 4. Border equals 4. Okay, so now we are going to test and see if it managed to get the correct table that we wanted by printing this container. So we are going to print dam data container and then see what we get when we run this application. Okay, so let's open up our terminal again in the right pane. Switch to the root user, activate the virtual environment, and then run the server, python manage.py run server, and we should be able to see our code printed right here. Okay, so it appears that we had to pip install the request library as well. Okay, so Control C and then pip install. Let me first clear this. Pip install requests. I thought that it was actually included in the standard Python library, but it seems like it's an external library that we need to install. Okay. Once that has been installed, let us try again. Pip python manage.py run server. Okay, so as you can see, our table has been found. So we have found the right table using our find method from the beautiful soup object. And this is the table that we're looking to scrape. Table align center border equals 4. And as you can see, we have the first row. And we have our fields, dam, river, photo, this week, last week, and last year. And we have the next row containing our actual data, the Berg River, and its data values for this week, last week, and last year. Okay, so that looks good. This is exactly what we are looking for. So now we are going to close this for now. Control C to cancel the server. Deactivate the virtual environment and clear. So we have our table now, and now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to first write an if statement to check if data actually exists, if that table is there on the website, because sometimes it disappears and the application will generate an error if it can't find that table. So now we first specify that if the dam data container is not none, right? So if it can't find this, it will return a null, which is a none in Python. And now we are saying if the container is not none. So if it finds the table, then run the following code that we are going to write. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to get the rows of our table. So now we're using our container, which we stored our table that we found in, and we can uncomment this along. We're saying stored in a variable called table rows equals dam data container dot find all table rows. Okay, so if we go back here, you'll see these are our table rows. So it's gonna find all of these rows and then store it in this variable called table rows. Okay, once we have done that, let us print these table rows and see if it actually found them when it used the find all method of beautiful soup. Okay, so table row, rows with an S, is what we are going to print. So we open up the terminal again. Maybe we should leave it open, but there's not enough space. In the right pane, and then switch to the root user. Activate the virtual environment. Run the server. Okay, so now, as you can see, it has stored our table rows in a list. So this is the opening bracket right here of the list, and then as you can see, this is the first element, this table row, and there's a comma for the next element, starting at this table row, ending at that table row, and that's the comma for the next element, and so on up until the closing brace of the list. Okay, so it found our table rows and stored it in a list. And now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to create an empty list, and then we are going to strip all the text, right? Because sometimes what happens is that these data values usually have a hash sign, which I'm not sure what it means in front of it, but I will usually strip that. So I strip all text in each row. So I'm wondering if I should close this terminal or not, since we're going to be printing more. Okay, so let us just clear this, deactivate, and exit. And instead we are going to use our terminal. So it's Control Alt and T. Make it a bit smaller. And then it's sudo bash to switch over to our root user. And then let's locate our project, which is at desktop, dam levels course, dam levels. And now let's activate our virtual environment, source vn bin activate. So once that is done, we can now run our Python server, python manage.py run server. Okay, so here we have our list of rows again. So now instead of opening and closing the IDE's terminal, we can use our Linux terminal instead, and we can actually keep it running. Okay, so we've gotten all our table rows and we've printed it, and I will end this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.